Now we are.
Woo!
Hey everybody, how's it going? We thought we'd do a random impromptu live stream from the Self Reliance Festival, and I'm Nicole Sauce from the Living Free in Tennessee podcast and Hollow Roast Coffee. I'm here with Brian from the Lots Project, and do you go by your actual name or do we? Kyle Backwoods Butcher.
Perfect.
Okay, we're on day 2 of Self Reliance Festival. You made it through the boot camp and Self Reliance Festival. Are you tired?
I am exhausted. Well, not only made it through boot camp and Self-Reliance Festival, drove 22 hours to get here from northern New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And worked at a shop in New York for a full day in a slaughterhouse. Driving home from here.
Worked.
No. We did 3 beef that day. Then leaving here, driving back to Western New York, putting, I think it was like 10 pigs and 5 beef in the cooler with Joe. Blaze the Acres, go check him out as well. Working with him again Tuesday. So yeah, this has been a hell of a vacation for me.
Are you sure you don't want to stop at my house and off a couple of rants on your way through?
I really don't. I love you. I really don't. I had enough fun with the ram that we had here.
Mine are easier to catch.
Listen, that's a selling point for sure.
Yeah. I usually have them in a barn first or in like an enclosed area.
Yeah.
But that was not going to work with what we had going on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not every day you come down here to do a festival like that and you get a sheep hunting trip included.
Yeah.
I got a hunting trip included.
Okay, guys, on the live stream, let our folks know that we're live on my social networks and your social networks. We didn't know we were going, but I had extra time, which I've never had at Self-Reliance Festival before. And I'm like, we're doing a live stream. We're going to start making this a Self-Reliance Festival thing. Brian from Lots has been making this happen the whole time with content creators as best he can with the crappy equipment I threw at him and said, I don't know, figure it out, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, we'll make it work. It's a lot to put together, and you got a ton on your plate, and then something happened here kind of close to our area and close to our communities that took a little bit of precedence because people with no houses and electricity or water, we're having a great time here, but there's stuff you got to take care of. So a lot on your plate, and I think live streaming from SRF might have been a little bit down.
I was like, I got to make time for it though, right?
Yeah, we got her done. We had a nice half hour, 40-minute group of us in here yesterday, and had a bunch of people jump in, which was nice. And so here we are. We'll grab people by.
Yeah.
And then it's like, depending on what we've been doing, I've been setting up my phone, going live on TikTok, trying to tag everyone I can in it, and just like, hey, we're here, we're doing content, we're live. We did our content panel last night. We were live for probably 45 minutes of it on TikTok. It's like, hey, we're doing a panel on how to do content. I might as well live stream that and do content.
So you're saying you didn't have any secrets at that panel that couldn't be just broadcast live on the internet?
No, there are no secrets. I think that's the hardest. That was the hardest part about that panel is everyone's like, what's the secret sauce? What do you do? How do you do it? And it's like, I don't know.
Everything new. Something works different for everybody.
When he talks.
Something works different for everybody. Like, you got to find your niche. You got to find the platform that works best for you and your style. And so answering specific questions, it's the Jack Spear Co. It depends. Really depends on what your goals are and what you want to do. But we were able to give a lot of people a lot of direction, which was nice.
Is this your 3rd or 4th one?
5th or 6th, I think.
What's the difference between the first one you were at and this one, would you say?
I realized that I can get all the information for the presentations anytime I want, but I can't get the in-person contact, talking to people, and I spend more time walking around people, building community and connections than anything else. So the first one, all I wanted to do is see all the presentations. I had to see all the presentations, and at this point, I think I grab one like when I'm walking by because I know I can go find them somewhere.
Yeah. And why?
The community?
Yeah.
Oh man, I've built relationships here that, really, they bring fruit to me every day. Whether it be meeting relationship with Tim, your community, new people here, it just spurs opportunities personally, and I'm able to connect people with other people. So that's all I'm about, is building community. So this in person different than the online imaginary friends when you get to shake their hand and it builds a stronger bond.
Oh, for sure. And like even just meeting, like, so this is my second year. Last year I posted my first YouTube like 5 months for SRF. Came to SRF. The amount of people, again, in that 5-month span, which when I first started, I would try to get on every single podcast I could because I'm like, this is fun. Why not? And the amount of people coming up, oh, you're Kyle Backwoods Butcher. I recognize your voice. I'm like, that is so weird. I'm not used to that. Now, a year and a half into content, compared to the first SRF to where I'm at now is like, it's nuts. And it's like, again, the community, the people you've met. I met someone here last year who turns out lived in New Hampshire, was in politics in New Hampshire. And from those relationships I've built, again, just putting out content, coming to SRF and doing all this, I'm like giving a testimony to my state Congress about legalizing cottage industry laws and stuff like that. It's like, none of that would have happened if I didn't come here. Like, it's crazy.
You know, it's really crazy.
That
I would like to talk about. No, there's something else that's crazy about what happened here. Kyle was brought down to show us how to process rabbits, and on Friday we had the boot camp. So he processed, and they processed rabbits, and then we cooked them, and they took 2 hours longer and required extra heat. But whatever, we got the rabbit stew at the end of it all, and then he was scheduled to do rabbit processing here.
Right.
Okay, and Thursday night, John Willis took me and a whole bunch of people out to dinner. And he's like, you can process a ram. I got 3. I only need 1. And so he arrives the next day. I'm like, hey, you want to process a lamb? And from one conversation with just everybody who was coming here, we sourced a giant cooler for it.
Yep.
We had what we needed to dispatch the ram.
The rum.
We had that too.
Yeah, I was going to say, enough been dispatched at this festival.
That's also true. And what we used had a suppressor, so nobody had to hear it because the sheep were running around among the campsite.
Yeah, so I'll tell. Right, I'm gonna tell that on my podcast as well. Meet the Critters, go check it out. MEAT, because I like puns. So we get there, we get out into the sheep are running around the camping area where everyone's out camping, and it's with kids, and luckily everyone was kind of pre-warned and like, hey, this is happening. But then I'm still walking through right here.
Oh yeah.
Right. I get handed a 40 cal Glock with a suppressor, and it's like, all right, go get it. And I'm just walking through tents. And my favorite part of the entire thing is we're looking for the sheep. We found them, and I walk past this tent, and I just, oh no. But again, I
had gone around to everybody who had kids,
right,
and said, just in case you don't want them to learn about this right here, right now, without parental, it's like you might want to keep them in. It won't be loud, but this thing's about to happen.
We ended up having to upgrade the weaponry involved, which I initially was like, oh, at least I'm not going to have to remove the head because the initial shot's going to do it for me. That sheep took a 300 blackout straight to the noggin and just went, excuse me? I'm like, I hate all this, but we got it done, got it taken care of, and had an awesome class. We probably had 50, 60 people watching, asking questions, being involved, which is fantastic.
Did somebody video that?
Which part?
Breaking it down?
I think so. Somebody.
I know we didn't, but
there were so many people running around.
Spirko said the way you cut up the sheep was a lot different, and I was very interested to watch the video because I did not see that.
Well, hey, do you know what, Nicole?
What?
You can go over to Backwoods Butcher 603 on YouTube, and you can see all of my videos.
What?
On
you
how to
have
break that
videos
sheep.
on your
Oh
YouTube
my God,
channel?
it's crazy.
And what was that YouTube channel again?
Backwoods Butcher 603.
Okay, well, I noticed that CJ Kilmer just walked in. You got a hand on the mic.
Hello, this is the sound of me talking.
I think it's the sound of CJ Kilmer.
And I say, as a recovered academic, events like this are so much cooler than academic history conferences. You'll never be at an academic history conference and they're like, yeah, from a session where, you know, a dude was showing us about suppressors and butchering sheep and whatever like that. It's like, no, we were discussing 18th century France gender roles or some nonsense like that. This is way better. I'm glad I'm a dangerous historian and not a regular historian.
Yeah.
This is a super fun couch because it's like academic, the exact opposite of academic.
I mean, we just spent 20 minutes talking about 19th century French gender roles over there behind the shed,
That's-
so I don't know what you're talking
Yeah, and it was
I don't
fast.
want to do it behind the shed.
Especially gender roles.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah.
It's PG. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah.
PG here. Huh?
Yeah, right.
I could have streamed to your channel. I don't know why I didn't.
Couch.
You want me to?
I'm
Yeah,
just
go
glad to change out of my dress when we were
I gotta
done.
Pop out in a couple minutes, but I want
Yeah.
to come in and say hello. So, but
I'm
yeah,
sure I
thank
have.
you, CJ, for taking the time to sit down and have an interview with me too.
Oh, yeah, it was
wonderful.
fun.
I said earlier that CJ's on my bucket list, and I finally
Get
had a
that mic close to
conversation with to you. So,
Yeah.
so Toolman Tim here, just popping by, walking in. It's good to see everybody. It's been quite a successful event. We've had the crew. I counted maybe 200 sitting in the area last
We
night.
have
would it be
I think we're
For
pushing 600 this
600,
time.
but it was the most packed speaking area that I've spoke to since I've been here.
Yeah.
And it was, I spoke 4:30 in the afternoon. It was hot.
It was
And I had Brian.
AF, by the
Oh,
way.
Bad.
I haven't had this heat in 2 months.
Oh,
I came in and I'm like,
He- Ever. You
Yeah,
guys don't know what he did.
we have a Florida man here.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to getting back to Florida where it's slightly cooler than this, I think.
Oh,
It's supposed to be 72 and sunny tomorrow.
But yeah, of course, right when I leave. But another hurricane waiting for me when I get back, so I've got that to look forward to. That'll be fun.
It's just a category 3 or 2
Yeah,
or something.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
my wife told me it was 32 degrees when she left the house this morning.
Yeah.
oh, Celsius, right?
No,
No, I'm going to hold the mic.
we units. Everybody,
Yeah, I just wanted everybody
My
to hear
car
what he
gets
said.
40. My car gets 40 rods to the sheep's head, and that's the way I like it.
How many cubits is that?
He doesn't do math.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah.
Florida, I thought you said Cubans.
Oh, I said cubits. Yes, I was close. So, yeah.
Well, those
So
are
CJ, how is
so-
this different than last time you were here? Because it's been a year and a half.
It's hotter. I remember it being and rainier last time I was here. That was the main difference. But the dinner last night was fancier than what I remembered having last time. Man, that was a good dinner.
It was delicious.
Yeah, AJ from Simmerwell did that. They worked their tails off along with Kiri from Thunderhill Farms, and we sourced the ingredients from different people in the network. So that took a lot of work.
It
They
was
did a
delicious.
fantastic job. Yeah.
Yeah, I was disappointed when I got full. I grabbed seconds, and I just didn't have it in me to fully finish. Bummed out, but it was good. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Been long enough since the last one. I don't remember it all that well, but you know, the good stuff is the same. Lots of really cool, really interesting people. Just all kinds of random comments. It's always great being in an event like this where you can walk around and suddenly start spouting off about how Woodrow Wilson is an asshole and the Federal Reserve is a scam. And not only does everybody know kind of at least a little bit what you're talking about, they don't think you're crazy about it. It's great. It's great being around people who reinforce your insanity with theirs.
It's the best.
So Tim, what's different for you this year?
Oh man, it's actually been a lot less stressful for me. You
Why?
were nice. You were nice enough not to ask me to MC this year, which was a huge. Because normally I do an MC, I speak, I do a panel, and I mean I love it, but I leave and I'm just like, whew. And so I'm here. Becky's doing the kid stuff. I spoke at 4:30 yesterday with Brian and Carrie. That was it, other than help when he needs me, and it has been refreshing. I've been able to connect with folks. I've been able to take the time to speak, and today I've even been able to take the time to do some interviews that I don't always make the time for. So it's been a lot off my shoulders. So thank you.
Well, you're so handsome. How could I not ask you to do something like that? You need to have as much FaceTime as you possibly can at this festival.
I do my best, but I'm usually funnier than I am good looking. So there's that, you know.
I understand that.
Okay, so honestly, have you met any people here?
No.
I've met.
It's okay. It's okay to say yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
they're great.
Yeah, he was like, they're not thinking he's crazy, but there's probably been a few odd. What's the oddest conversation you've had? Anybody can answer.
Mine might have been my conversation with John Willis yesterday, because he asked me about some, history conspiracy stuff that I had never even heard about. And so one of the great things about when I talk with John is I get to learn about crazy conspiracy theories that are not even on my radar. Like apparently there's a whole thing about a baby train where people were mailing babies around the country for some reason to do something. I didn't quite follow what the purpose of it was. But yeah, that was a new one on me, that people were mailing babies around.
Well, there was a time I know where they shipped orphans out to the Midwest to be adopted by farm kids to do the work.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the baby train. And it was through the USPS on the trains, I think. I don't know if it was USPS or not, but it was on the trains. And they didn't know where they were going to, it's like they just put them on the train and
Good luck.
Have a good day.
that happened.
It's like the reverse stork.
Yeah. It seems to have been like a low budget way of traveling. Really, like
And they did mail kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
How many stamps does that take?
More today than it did back then.
yeah.
Not just because the average kid is bigger than they were either. I would say that I didn't meet any new crazy people,
Right.
but I know a few from other years that I had tried slightly wide berth from. I don't stay away from them completely, but I just kind of know where I limit my
I'd just like to point out Toolman Tim has not been around me very much this weekend.
That's not on purpose. Normally I have Becky with me, and she's really good at being, let's go this way or do this. And, it's great. But yeah, no,
That's where you just do the, oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's great. Actually, hey, you don't have a watch on. Oh, I got to be somewhere and speak real quick.
the craziest people I've ever met have not been at this event. They've been at other events. There's
Craziest people I've ever met are just randos walking around in Walmart.
Yeah. Oh, we saw a couple of those this week. It was pretty great.
How about I met a brony? Is that what they call them? The guys that dress up like My Little Ponies? I met one
No,
behind me in the checkout at Dollar General one
you are
time.
so lucky.
And the dude taps me on the shoulder and he's like, "What do you think about bronies?" And I'm like, "What is that?"
Wow.
And he's like, "Yeah, dude, the guy I must have a face, because he spent 10 minutes talking to me about the lifestyle and how he's been going after his local politician to make it a legal lifestyle choice." And I'm like, and this was the very first time we were down here in Tennessee, and it was in Tennessee. So I was like, that's friggin' awesome. So
I would say the conversation I've had, again, I have to preface this with, in my life, it is not a crazy conversation, but I had about a 15-minute conversation with somebody about, hey, could I use a chainsaw to split a cow? And I mean, in any other facet of life, if you walked by someone and just heard, well, listen, you're going to have to change the bar oil to vegetable oil. And let me promise you that bone dust is going everywhere. That, any other person would be like, what the hell? But I've also had this conversation multiple times with people.
Have you actually used a chainsaw on an animal? Because I know somebody who has.
I've used an electric chainsaw, which those work fantastic.
Yeah, he regretted cutting that deer with the chainsaw when stuff went everywhere.
Hold on. I've done it with beef. On beef, it's a much bigger animal. It makes more sense. You get a 12-inch bar, an electric chainsaw, put vegetable oil in the bar and bar fluid. You can zip right through that thing. It's fantastic. If you're splitting a deer or cutting up a deer with a chainsaw, mistakes, my friends.
make sure it's frozen too, I'm going to say. At
I
least
think
making sure that's
it was
how
a what would happen if.
Oh, fair.
Oh, yeah.
What
yeah.
about on people? Do they work on people?
No comment.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying. I you know.
I will say first, but yeah.
Oh,
Blowtorch for that. Yeah.
What did I see here? Faith K says, Tim, you're safe. I'm not there this year. Good to see you, Faith. And everybody else in the comments is talking to each other, so we're doing good. So
Yeah, I was on them just to see if we had any questions or things they wanted to hear about. Okay, so CJ, after your session, when people came up to you, what were they asking you questions about?
They were mostly just saying they enjoyed it, whatever, like, and then, thanking me for being as open as I was in that presentation, but also for giving them, some ideas to think about, either because they are going through hard stuff, right, sort of keep in their back pocket for when those things do happen. So, that's what I was hoping to accomplish. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Now, I'm going to be a jerk for a minute. I'm pretty sure I know who you are, but you have the history correct?
The History Podcast. Yes, I'm the only one. I'm the first guy who
I
ever
know,
thought,
I know, but
good one.
the only good one. Because I was gonna say, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my god, I do recognize your voice because I went down the full rabbit hole on your Civil War thing, and
Yeah.
that was insane.
Yeah. That was a big one. And if you ever want to hear like 30-something hours of why Woodrow Wilson is one of the worst villains in history, I got you.
Do you know how many road trips I've listened to
Oh, yeah.
Woodrow Wilson? Like, I have driven from Tennessee, and it's all Woodrow Wilson the whole time.
My entire goal is for everyone who listens to hate Woodrow Wilson as much as I do. So there you go.
It is funny. It is funny how all of us, like definitely content creators, have just a goal in mind, and it doesn't matter what that goal is. Because like, hate Woodrow Wilson. Mine's Shanks. I want every single person to save Shanks on every animal they process, and it's doesn't really matter. No one needs to save their Shanks, but I'm like, no, you need to cook these. Put them in a crock pot. They're fantastic. But it's just one of those random things that it's like, all right, that's my goal in life. If I can change a handful of people's mind on that.
Yeah, I'd be better off if my main obsession was making as much money as I possibly could. But for some reason, I'm not good at that one.
Right. That should be the goal, right?
We're recruiting somebody who just walked by, maybe, depending on how baked they got. Not that kind of baked, guys. How baked they got under the tent, which is really hot.
No comment.
I'm watching Amy walk by and just making sure we didn't leave the food in there. Can't tell. Okay. I bought it. I bought a rabbit. No, he got it. Okay. Tactical took the rabbit out of the bin.
Tactical got the rabbit.
I was like, I want the food too, so that we can feed the rabbit the food it has been eating, and you don't just like change food on an animal like that.
Mm-hmm. Rabbits.
There was a big sign on it that
Don't slaughter
Don't kill this rabbit.
Nicole's rabbit.
And what I had about 5 different people tell me these rabbits. These are the rabbits. I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna go just full serial killer. Go through this entire. Trust me, I don't want to process any more rabbits than I have to. Like
Any non-human animal is not safe from your chainsaw.
that is my. I hate that phrase so much. I hate it because I just fight the vegans on TikTok all the time, and that all these non-human animals. You mean animals? Like I hate it.
What's a non-human animal?
Animals.
Animals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because a human is an animal too.
Right.
That's what I was wondering.
But they're
So
not.
they felt like they had to say non-human animals.
Right. It's a struggle.
Well, I think I am overdue for a little dose of AC at this point.
Go get
so
it. The best part
I'm gonna
here,
go chill out.
enjoy the air conditioning in the factory, buy stuff, or don't.
I'm gonna corner you at some point, but it was fantastic to meet you.
Likewise, thank-
Make sure you corner him in the air conditioning.
Yeah, in the air
Yeah.
conditioning. I'll find you in the air.
All right. Any questions from the audience? I'm not sure we're gonna pull anybody else in here right now
I know.
because Tim walked off with his wife to the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Here's my thought, guys. Next fall, we're doing another Self-Reliance Festival, and this tent needs an air conditioner.
Yes, it does.
All we gotta
or in
do
the
is
shade.
we just gotta hook up a window unit and a tube.
That'll work.
You could get one of the portable ones. we
I
use in the
have
RV.
two.
Well, look at that.
We could just bring one of mine.
You just have it blowing on the person.
Yeah.
Why are we in a sauna then?
I did not bring two.
Come on, Nicole. What are we
I'm
trying
a
to do
failure.
here?
I couldn't believe it was so hot in here when we came in with the door
Oh,
open. And
Yes, yesterday we were like, hey, we're just gonna guerrilla radio. We're just gonna toss on a thing, and we're all like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And then we all walk about 3 feet in here, and we're like, God, this is not gonna be. Yeah, we're there. If you watch the podcast that was yesterday, you see me and Brian wrestling with this zipper behind us, trying to get the door open because we're like,
Awesome.
oh no, we just got the shake off from Carrie Brown.
he just got some food.
Yeah,
No.
come in.
Go eat your food. Go eat your food.
You can eat on camera. And then you just need to talk with your mouth full.
Maybe I'll wait.
Yeah, I'm just, it's just
Yeah, it's fine.
if
Chew with your mouth
Have it
open, have a good
interviewing.
time.
yeah.
We just shooting it here.
How is this Self-Reliance Festival different than the last one you were at?
Well, it's hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. From April, I feel like we have more people at this one. Twice as many. Okay, so I was right on that. I am noticing more people engaging with one another. I'm seeing lots of side pockets emerging and people getting over their shyness and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a critical mass thing or something. We did start the Facebook group, which we resisted for so long, and people were starting to talk in advance who didn't know each other, which had some names, like the people who are coming new. Somebody's like, who's going to SRF for the first time? And there was like, me. And then they had names. So maybe that helps.
Well, what's helpful about it is every conversation starts with, can you believe how hot it is? Hey, anyway.
Cool. Oh, Becky, are you coming in?
Becky.
They like you more than me. Come have a seat.
We'll keep it brief. Hey, what's different about this event than other events? First day.
It's hot.
She can stay. Everybody said that first time, Becky. So how well received was the SRF Kids program? Just hand to the mic.
I think it was pretty good. We had 18. Nope. 18 kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
And like they all seemed to have fun. They all came back today. We cut it short today because it's like a sauna under that tent this afternoon. So, but we got everything done quick this morning.
This is what we know about events and tents.
We've learned.
They're hot. Yeah.
We already knew, but now we really know.
More fans.
Yeah.
Well, last year I was sitting over there with socks, pants, sweater, blanket, and my nails were purple. I was freezing. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this year, it might be a little bit warmer. But no, this is the depths of hell. I'm done. I'm so hot.
You are hot.
Our soft northern skin isn't
No. But then, and like now I'm terrified because I'm leaving for Spain on Monday night. And I don't know if it's hot. Is it hot there? I don't know.
It depends where you go. It could be hot.
Like Barcelona and Madrid.
But if you're going up, the higher you go, the less hot it is. But this time of year, you might get some blast, but you're not going to get like August in Spain.
Yeah, I can't handle this heat.
Ask me how I know. I went to Spain, but I went to an island. I went to Mallorca, and it was supposed to be like beautiful beach vacation, and the rain came in, and it was freezing the whole time I was there. So we were like, well, we're not going to lay on the beach. We got one beach day, and then went to an underground cave and like toured all this stuff because I was like, it's not a beach vacation anymore.
Yeah.
So nice.
And that was like, I think that was May or June that we did that.
Okay. Yeah, there's going to be 30 of us going from the school
Nice.
because it's not something that I ever have said I want to go to Spain. Never. It's never been in my bucket list. Nothing. So I don't know anything about it. So I'm kind of going. It'll be a surprise.
I just like to add countries to my list.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I have to knock off the countries I want to go to before I start going to countries I don't even have on my list.
And I barely leave my small town in New Hampshire. So coming to this is like, I might as well be going to Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've always saved. So I've been to Mexico, but I haven't been to Mexico. I've been to like Nogales, which is right on the border, which doesn't count. It's like I've gone shopping at border markets in
That's
Mexico.
where
So
we
I feel
went.
like that's still on my list in air quotes. So that's supposed to be my easy one. For a long time, I went to a new country every year, and then I got older with other interests and stopped doing that.
We're going to Mexico in January. That's what I got the kids for Christmas this year instead of going Christmas shopping and spending a whole bunch of money on crap they don't need.
Yeah.
So
I'll usually just go to the grain store and then I'll get home and be like, all right, I'm good for a couple days. Like I don't need to go anywhere.
So what was the weirdest conversation you had while you were here?
I haven't really had any weird conversations. Well, with the kids, like I had some conversation. Well, I had one that told me that she has an imaginary dog that she wanted to make her stuff for, and another one with a plastic robot that was sitting on the ground eating rocks with it.
Nice.
Yeah, and pretty interesting conversation.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah, that's basically what it boils
Kyle
down.
was in your class?
Yeah.
No,
I was eating rocks.
but I haven't. I actually haven't had any really. I haven't had any conversations with anybody really. Not.
Well, now is your chance. You can have it in air conditioning
Yes.
inside.
Oh.
Good.
Get
If
it.
you want to hang out, we can. If you want to go get some air, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like going. Yeah.
You
But
look, you look
You
really
can
hot.
stay and
You
talk,
look
but I'm just
so
like,
hot.
I feel like you could use an hour in the air conditioning,
no,
as could I.
I think Chuck's been just frothing at the bit to start an IV on me because he says I'm too dehydrated.
Yeah, go.
I would.
Yes.
Hey, thank you for doing everything this
Yes,
weekend.
absolutely. We'll talk when I cool down.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
You know, one thing that I've noticed talking about, milling around and overhearing things and interacting with people, I have not had a single fearful comment of, oh, what if, what about XYZ? And which, interestingly, this is as good a time as any to be concerned about that because we've had this mess in Appalachia. There's all kinds of weirdness going on the world stage, but I have not heard people focusing on that here.
No, so I started my session asking people what they were worried about, but I made the mistake of saying, obviously the flood is something we're worried about. And they told me specific things about the flood they were worried about. And I was like, what about inflation? And they're like, oh yeah, there's all this other stuff like the ports and all that.
Right.
They were slow to come up with things they were worried about, which made me super, and I was just asking that question to understand where they were, because sometimes I'll ask what people are afraid of and they're like, the frogs are turning gay or whatever. And I just want to know who's in the audience, right?
Yeah, just
So
get a
we can
baseline.
start where they are and move them to where we are. And it completely changed what I was going to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they weren't that scared, actually. There was some fear. And what there is more right now is anger over the lack of news coming out of the floods area. It's like there's a blackout on communications. So the only reports I'm getting that I actually trust are from people you and I know who are like making a video. I know them personally, and they're saying this is happening.
Right.
Yeah.
And the death toll is wrong.
Yeah.
The official death toll is way off. And there's some sketchy stuff going on up there. And I think it is
Very
time that
sketchy.
we start getting more of our personal testimonies out on that, because nobody gives a fuck about what's going on in North Carolina unless they're hearing it from personal testimonies.
Well,
And I know I don't swear on my channel
Yeah.
much, guys, but nobody gives a fuck. And that's not acceptable.
Right.
Like there was another announcement. What was it? Kamala this morning said some quote about how we have to help the people suffering in Lebanon.
Right.
And they don't
Talk
mean
about out of
Lebanon,
touch.
Tennessee,
Yeah.
where nothing happened. But yeah, so it's like, I understand they're angry about it. They're not worried about it.
No, exactly. It's rough to sit through all that and just kind of again, like you said, the only information that most of us are getting, and if the only information that all of us trust are for people that we know personally, people we know who are there, or people who we have followed for a long time who we trust with that information. And that's not right. It's interesting for sure.
We're doing our job, though. If people aren't worried, we're
Right.
doing our job.
No,
here.
I'm happy. That made me happy.
Absolutely.
I was like, the baseline of this room is so different than it's been every other festival. I don't have the one person who's like, I need to find my tribe now and I need to move in with them off the grid and panic. And you just don't do that. Like you have to know people for a while, right?
Well,
Before
there
you
is
spend-
a different vibe here, and I think Carrie nailed it. With people are talking to each other. People aren't here scared looking for answers. They're here understanding their situation, looking how to improve it, and they've already got a handle on we can make this okay if we do it together. And I think that's where a lot of the outreach and community building is happening, is because people have realized that they don't have to be scared, because there's a lot of us here that'll help you. And there's a lot of us here that'll teach you and have your back. And they see the response from these communities to the situation in North Carolina and go, there are people out there that I can build community with that will help me when it happens, when it need to.
Yeah. What did Faith say there at the bottom?
Faith says, these are the times when you realize that your neighbors are who you lean on, and you find out that your neighbors are the bigger community than you thought.
And again, so so many questions, like just getting like, I don't know about you guys, just getting hammered with so many questions about just everything, whether it's we're doing doing talks and classes, or just people just you're walking, getting food. And it's like, hey, I listen to your podcast. I have this question. What do we do with this, that, and the other thing? And as I was talking to Brian about it the other day, I was like, I feel bad that my answer to most of these things is you just need to do it, where it's like, how do I do this? How do I get involved in this? How do I start learning the process of how to break down animals? How do I learn how to do my own food? How do I learn how to do this? It's like, hey, guess what, bud? I wish I could give you the secret sauce and all the recipe on how to do it perfectly without anything.
Take the knife out of the sheath.
Yeah.
Take the knife out of the sheath.
And it's like we had a question at the content panel that we did, and it was like, if you could start over again and change how you did your content, what would you do? And I said nothing. I would change nothing about what I did because, well, I know, but it's like, because I didn't get here by starting off on a great point. I got here because I screwed up a bunch and realized, hey, that doesn't work. And I had to learn it. I had to learn, hey, this doesn't work, so we're going to try this, and then we're going to try this.
You wouldn't have put the bikini on TikTok earlier?
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. That one was going to wait for as many followers as I have now. I wasn't going to do that with 1,000 followers, that's for sure.
You know this man's been on the internet in a bikini, right?
I don't, but I'm gonna go find that next.
Twice.
It's very easy to find.
I'm sure.
Bikini and short shorts. I had those bitches rolled up.
Does not surprise me one bit.
Nope.
Yeah. Hey, tell them about your tree class. So on November 2nd, Carrie's coming to the Holler Homestead, and he's gonna do a tree class, and that's like not a good way to describe it because people are like, "Oh, trees." No. Why do people want to come to this?
So we are going to teach the various roles of trees the roles that trees can serve on your permaculture styled, regeneratively styled homestead. So we're going to deep dive onto choosing the appropriate trees for certain microclimates, for certain functions. Is it fencing? Is it food? Is it animal fodder? Is it screening? And no, we are not charging people to come dig holes around your giant rocky soil. This is mostly going to be, educational. There's going to be an opportunity to do a little bit of hands-on if you want, but I forgot the title that I came up with, but I got a pretty good title.
It was a great title.
It was a really good. There was like alliteration and everything. Partnering with trees on the permaculture homestead.
Yeah.
There we go.
Partnering with trees on the permaculture homestead.
Can you dig a hole deep enough to put a tree in here?
Depends on where.
Depends. It depends.
Yeah, and that'll be a part of it because of some of the challenges of that particular property. We will have the opportunity to problem solve in real time.
Yeah. So on November 2nd, we're having class from 10 in the morning till 3 or something or 2 with lunch, and it is all about the practical side of learning. It's not about the hands-on part of digging. I also need to plant something like 5 to 8 trees. I don't think we're putting that many trees in, but I don't know because you've been doing that with tactical.
Yeah, I've got a list.
And we don't need your help putting them in. If you want to plant one, Carrie will guide you through it, but we're not expecting you to do that work. And I think it's going to be a really good class. It's $90. If you go to livingfreeintennessee.com, you can buy it there, but you're not going to be able to find it till Monday. But you can fill out my contact form, tell me you want to come, and I will make sure you get that link.
Yep.
Okay, anything before we wrap? Because I'm about to die. I'm going to die.
I'm about to get bit
You know
by
why I'm going to die?
Because it's hot as hell.
It's hot.
If you go to Kyle's TikTok, we'll be going live in a little bit to see him get bit live with a dog.
We're going to stream Dog Bites live in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll
One
be streamed somewhere
official-
else, but it'll be on
Is
my
it at
TikTok.
2 o'clock or 1 o'clock?
It's 1:03.
No, that you're getting bitten.
Oh, 2:30.
At 2:30, we have Dog Bite class. What's that from?
B-Man J, nice. Gaines girl, same here. Now I was married with children when I did the deep. Doing the deep?
I don't know. I don't want to know what that means exactly.
I think we all know what that means exactly.
I don't think so. Okay. Guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go stuff my face
Yeah.
with shade.